Hello and welcome to my new office. It is a glorious room. If you can see, we have a desk set up behind me. There's the desk I'm on primarily. This is going to be my new studio. I have plans and changes to add some personality in the background behind me. But until I do, this is going to be my new room of choice. So I hope you look forward to my vlog, which is coming up right now. Greetings and welcome to my winning YouTube vlog, however we want to pronounce it. And today I'm probably going to be talking about YouTube for money, YouTube for profit, YouTube as a business. Now, as you know, I am hosting a new channel on YouTube, of which I will not make reference in this one because I want to keep this vlog pure, so to speak, unadulterated. But with that in mind, probably the biggest thing that I see, because I've been doing a lot more research on YouTube as a business. I've learned a lot about YouTube, its algorithm, how it places stuff, how it likes tags formatted, and there's a lot you could do to optimize your video, and that's just one section, one corner of a four-part picture. I'll put it that way. You know, it's really interesting because to go off on a little bit of a tangent, when people start YouTube, they start out saying, you know what, I want to make a great video. And so they go out and they make a video about something that they're passionate about, and they put it up on YouTube, and they're excited, and then they discover, oh, I need to get more professional with my videos. So they go ahead and they purchase some equipment, and they get some gear, and they make their sound, or they make their video, or they buy their they make their sound or their video better, perhaps recording in higher quality, and they put that up there, and then they discover, you know, people like this, but I want better. So they go out and they buy an editing program. They go ahead and start editing, and they get really good at that, and they think that's enough. They think that putting out great content and great videos is enough to get them noticed, get a following, and survive on YouTube. And shock of all shocks to discover 4, 5, 6 months down the pipe that they only have 4 subscribers. But even worse, they only have 3 views each on the videos. They're saying, well, wait a minute, I'm putting out great stuff. My friends think it's great. I think it's great. My family thinks it's great. How come the world doesn't think it's great? It's simple, actually. Remember how I mentioned there's 4 parts to YouTube? It's because you're missing the other 3. So, what do I mean by the other 3? Well, what they don't tell you whenever people search for, how to make YouTube income full-time is that there is more than just awesome content. It is a good piece, but there's more than just awesome content. What they don't tell you in order to make it full-time on YouTube is you need to become your own guru, not only in content creation, but also in search engine optimization. And that's the second part. Great content's the first part. Optimization of your content for YouTube's search engines is the second part. The third part, if you're treating this like a business, is to seriously consider doing an ad. There is a reason why I say that, and let me get to it in that. And no one teaches you how to do an ad. Yeah, there might be YouTube helpful FAQs out there, but they don't teach you how to do a video ad. But once you know how to do a video ad, it really opens up your exposure. Because, as I mentioned earlier, the problem most YouTube people have, especially if they want to make this a business, is they will go out, they will make great content, and they'll wonder why they aren't being seen. It's simple. There's too much noise. YouTube is a very loud place. And there's lots of people with microphones who have been around a longer time than you have, especially if you're a new channel, especially. And they're going to win. YouTube's going to be optimized for people who are already there. It's like the gatekeeper stuff. Or if you're familiar with economics, the term of a barrier to entry, where once you cross that barrier, you're golden. Basically, it's a reinforcing cycle. But if you're new and you haven't been able to cross that barrier to entry to get that organic growth, to get that subscriber count number up, you're not going to be filtered. You're not even going to be shown. The only way for you to really get yourself out there is, in a way, to pay to win. Now, you might be saying, well, hold on here. Pay to win? That doesn't sound right. Well, hold on. Remember, I'm approaching this from a business perspective. And when I say pay to win, I'm doing what businesses have done for thousands of years. It could easily say, one day you wake up and say, I'm going to be in business. And you wait by your front door at your house and nobody comes in. And you go bankrupt because, hey, there's no way to get anyone in the door. Why? Because nobody knows you exist. So the next super genius comes along. He says, you know what? I'm going to go into business. And he takes a roof shingle from his roof and he scribbles on there general store and hangs it outside his house. And he might get 1 or 2 visitors. The third person comes along and says, you know what? I like that general store idea. I could run a general store, but I want to do it better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put that shingle outside just like everyone else that says general store, but I'm going to go to the local newspaper and I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to pay you X amount of money, and whenever you deliver a newspaper, go ahead and deliver where my business is located, an address, an advertisement. And the newspaper, called Google or YouTube, or whatever publication you like, goes out there and it says, hear ye, we have a new general store located at X Elm Street. Come by, they have all your goods. That business is going to get a lot more flow because their message is getting out above everyone else's shingle at the door that people have to randomly discover. Now, there are ways to get randomly discovered, but most of the time they involve a lot of time. And if you're approaching this from a business perspective, waiting forever for customers until you have enough is never going to be a long-term business plan. You're going to have to approach this from how can I grow my channel the fastest way possible, getting the most people who are interested in my product. Now, I might have gone a little bit fast there, but so let me break it down. With any business, there's a term called ROI, or return on investment. And that is, for every amount of time you spend on the business, that's a cost, and that cost adds up. So the question is how long will it take you to recoup that cost via some sort of compensation? For most people in business, that's money. Others, it could be trades or borrows or barter. But, for most people, that's money. And with YouTube, the longer your ROI is, the more intensive your investment's going to be to meet that ROI. Now, remember, your return on investment is not guaranteed on YouTube. So the longer it takes you to get that return on investment, the more risk you have. I know. Can you imagine there's risk on putting out videos on YouTube? And that's simply as well, yes. Yes, there is a risk at putting up videos on YouTube. Other than the generic, this will be here forever syndrome, which happens a lot on YouTube. The risk with putting stuff constantly on YouTube is you could have spent that time working on another business that has a much shorter return on investment. So it's good to see, how long it will take you to make your return on YouTube. I did my research on the particular niche I was in, and it's very interesting to see that my ROI, return on investment, is about a year. It's going to take me a year of pushing at maximum full gas throttle, pedal to the metal in order for me to get to the threshold of income I'm looking for on YouTube. And of course, you'll be able to see how I'm doing here because I'll be talking about it. But the premise is how did I find out it would take a year for me to get to where I need to be on YouTube? The best way I could put it is, first of all, I'm going to take this a little backwards, is find out, what your monthly income is needed to survive. So if you've ever done a budget before, you'll have a good idea of how much income it takes a month for you to survive. Next, you search for YouTubers on Social Blade, and you find out several things about them. The first thing you want to do is you want to find YouTubers who are making on the lowest end of the spectrum. Mind you, Social Blade has a range between the bare minimum and how much, maximum dollar you can make. And some YouTube users, it's crazy. It's like $9,000 a month to several $1 million in case of PewDiePie. But you want to take the bare minimum range because I believe that's a fair expectation for the bottom dollar that YouTube could deliver to you per month. Now, mind you, month to month, the income will go up and down, and there's a whole chart I could eventually point you towards as to when you could expect your income to dip. January, December. But primarily you want to see how much on average on the bottom metric of Social Blade, how much do these YouTubers bring in a month? And so you want to find YouTubers who are making plus or minus what you need per month or on a daily basis even. And then you want to see, once you find that magic number, saying, oh, these YouTubers bring in, I'll use a random number, $12,000 a month on the minimum low end. Okay, that's great. Well, the next question is, how long have they been around? And that's very important because most people want to base stuff off of like their first video, but that Social Blade isn't that intelligent. So what you really need to do is it's check the YouTuber by their creation date. And that will give you a rough idea as to how long it takes them to hit their requisite income. So let's go ahead and take an example. I'm going to have to pause here. I got a telephone call. Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Quick phone call, easy enough to do. So, as I was saying, let's go ahead and take an example of a random YouTuber. And the YouTuber I have in mind, well, it wouldn't be so random. Well, the point is you could go to any YouTuber out there and you can look at them and you could check out how much they're bringing in a 30-day period. And you could say, you know what? They were created in 2007. They have 300-something odd videos. They're averaging X million views a month. They're in the same category, so they're a competitor of mine. It's 2015 right now. I'm going to assume that their earliest video was dated when you find out when you discover it was made in 2007, and they've been going strong ever since. You see their schedule, because they release like maybe one video a month. It's very possible. Maybe they did a burst of videos, and you get the idea of not only the release schedule for them, but also how long it took them to get established. And you're saying, well, do I have a chance of going 8+ years on YouTube before I start making $1? That's a good question you need to ask. And maybe you say, you know what? I want money faster. Maybe this idea, this cool stuff that I was going for is not necessarily going to be my source of income. And, that's important to make note of. How long is it going to take you? Now, that's just one YouTuber. Maybe they're doing something wrong. That's why it's taking them forever. So, like I said, look at a good chunk of YouTubers, those who are at the top of their game in that category, and those who are maybe towards the middle or towards the bottom, and you'll get a rough idea of the average time it takes for a YouTuber to go from nothing to making the money that they've always wanted. And then you could say, well, on average, it actually doesn't take shock of all shocks 8 years like that first YouTube channel I looked at, based off of the averages. And yes, I'm going to use a lot of stats here. You're going to say, it takes on average about 3 years. Can I go 3 years on YouTube making only maybe a few pennies until I get big? And, that's a question to ask on that. Okay, so the next area I'm going to be covering is getting your message out beyond advertisements. Because though ads on YouTube can get you positioned very well, there's going to be a time when you're going to have to get your message out beyond YouTube. Now, yes, YouTube can be a primary source of income. However, YouTube ranks their videos not just on the YouTube platform alone, but also on the social media networks, and in particular, Google+. Now, does that mean you have to be tweeting all hours of the day and Facebooking until you have no more time left to create videos and you don't have a life anymore? And the answer is no, hardly. In fact, you can make things a lot of things automated. Facebook has done a lot of work in terms of diminishing organic views, and they want to be focused more on making you pay for page likes, etc. And so Facebook is a way to get noticed, but it's not as easy as it once was. Twitter, on the other hand, whitelists YouTube promotional materials, and that's really important when you want to get your message out there. Now with Twitter, there are certain growth strategies you could pursue, and I can mention those at another time. But I would say Twitter is probably the easiest way, because you only have to come up with one 136-character message. Well, okay, I won't talk about it too much, my Twitter strategy, until perhaps another vlog. But you can see that, if we look at the components again, it's great content, SEO optimization, ads, social media. Those are the four parts to a successful YouTube channel. And it really helps. All those do really, really help in terms of getting yourself out there. And I'll use an example. I'll use my own channel as an example, because why not? Why not talk about it without actually saying what it is? So, with my YouTube channel, I started in January. I was producing a video a day for an entire week, and that was just crazy. That was absolutely crazy. But the reason why I did that, not because I am one of those people that enjoy torturing themselves, was because I was looking for data as to when people mostly clicked, mostly were interested in these videos, and I discovered that for my channel, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday are like the golden days for me to upload content. So I discovered I didn't need to pump out a video every single day. I only need to pump out one video a week, which is, quite reasonable. It even reduces my risk and ROI on YouTube. The next thing about my channel is, I did a video advertisement. If you go on my channel, not only is when you subscribe to my channel, you won't see the channel trailer, but if you don't, you'll see my ad. And my ad is great if you happen to stumble upon my channel. But if you haven't, I actually run a YouTube ad, which is the same ad. I'm planning to differentiate them, so that way when people click in from the ad, they see the channel ad, which will be different. It'll more feature more of the content on there that I have. But thanks to those two ads, I'm up to 15 subscribers in one of the worst months. January, February is like one of the worst months. In fact, it's one of the top 3 worst months. December, January, and February are the top 3. 15 subscribers with a channel that's less than a month old is very impressive. Just note that you could actually get free advertising from YouTube by uploading a YouTube video, and then you go into your channel settings in the Creator Studios and you poke around there, and I believe it's underneath the tab called branding, and you could upload an ad there. And if Google doesn't have anyone else in the world who will pay to have an ad placed, they will place your ad on other videos that have allowed monetization, but don't have anyone who is willing to pay to be put on their videos. Your ad will show up then. But really, it's like maybe 1 or 2 views a month, if that. So it's quite low, but it's better than nothing. But like all businesses, there are costs. One of those is advertising costs. You might want to, the danger of repeating myself, seriously consider putting a real ad out there and cap it at the bare minimum, like $1.07 a day for 14 days. It's really not that bad. It gets you a lot of exposure and will get you faster to where you need to be. So that's all that I have for now. It's going to be a joy editing these together. But I will see you next time I feel like talking about all my adventures in winning YouTube. This is James McCorn, signing off.